Okay, good evening, everyone. How are you today? I hope you have read our summary about how yesterday's session went. Have you read it? Can I hear if anyone hasn't read the summary or watched yesterday's recording? Because today is a continuation of that. Has anyone watched yesterday's recording or read the summary or was present in yesterday's session? Is there anybody who wasn't present in during yesterday's session, masterclass? Hello.
Yes, I was not present.
Did you read the summary that we shared on the masterclass group?
Not yet.
We can give you 2 minutes to just catch up. Not a a
Okay.
long read. Okay. Good evening,
Okay.
Henry. Henry. Okay. Let's just give Romeo 2 more minutes to catch up with um what yesterday's session was about.
Elaine, we can't hear you. I think
No,
there's
I'm waiting. I gave Romeo 2 minutes to go catch up on yesterday's session to read the summary.
okay, no worries.
Yes, so we can
Oh,
continue.
okay, maybe as we wait to start, I also want to say that I really enjoyed reading the summary for yesterday's class and just watching the video. It's really nice, and the Nigerian film industry is a great industry to leverage on. And so we are so proud of Femi and all his accomplishments in the Nigerian industry. And we look forward to a great session ahead because learning from the leading country in Africa, which is leading by
Yes,
GDP.
yes.
And also, I don't know whether you all remember that the Nigerian industry started with very low quality films. So we have like very good expectations for today's class, especially because we're going to be actually reviewing a video. So it's going to be very interesting. And I'm waiting for Femi's joining in a few. Back to you, Elaine.
Wow, yesterday blew me away. Wow, so much information,
Yeah.
insightful information. Wow. So I'm also excited. Romeo, are you done?
God bless you.
Hi,
Hi,
Romeo. Have you
Ellie.
read the summary?
I can't seem to find. Just a moment.
Sorry?
My phone is
It's on
open.
the masterclass group, WhatsApp group.
Yeah, some groups are not appearing on my phone. Just a moment.
Oh, Elaine also be checking the chat. I've seen Clint has said he was present on the chat. So
Okay.
someone using the chat to communicate as well. Yeah.
Okay.
I think while I'm going through it, we can just proceed.
Okay, we are waiting for the speaker, Mr. Okedore, to just join us. Then we can begin with the continuation of yesterday's session.
Okay.
Yeah, he's joining in a minute.
Okay. Hopefully more people join by then. We are just kindly waiting for Mr. Kadore to join. Then we start everything.
Ellen, I'm testing the sound.
Okay, Miss Rachel.
Can you hear the sound?
Yes, I can. Yes, we can. I mean, I can. Can the rest of you hear the sound?
You can hear.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So, Ellen, as we wait for Mr. Femi to come, I wanted to play a video that he asked me to play, so that
Oh,
when
it also. Oh yeah, he's coming. He's here. Hi, Mr. Okedore. We are ready for you.
Hi, Eileen. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So, I don't know. Do I still need to introduce myself? Sorry. Do I
We
still...
have new participants today.
Okay.
I think you should can introduce yourself briefly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Eileen. So, I want to welcome us today into today's training as well. So, once again, my name is Oluwafemi Okedore. I am a film director and also a cinematographer here in Nigeria, Lagos State to be precise. Um, Yesterday, we were able to do an introduction on film appreciation, what film appreciation is about. As well, we were able to see the elements. So I will want to take a brief of it because yesterday we analyze a structure of how we are going to attend this class, which it's about going into the introduction of film appreciation. Then we move and we move into having to watch a video, a movie, film, two movie projects in which we are going to analyze what having to have having a practical analysis of what the film or the movie project is about. Then afterwards, we have time for question from the students. So we want to do a summary of what for the benefit of those the students that are joining us today. So film appreciation, uh, I was able to analyze yesterday. Film appreciation is about the art of understanding and analyzing film. at a time before we are able to enter into this class, we watch movie and we are so engrossed with the excitement that is embedded in movie where we don't take in cognizance some details of the film or the movie that we are watching. So, as an expert in film critics and also to be able to review film, this class, the benefit of this class is going to give us an insight of what a movie is about, how to review movies, not just one, and the ability to be able to also see mistake that a lot of we filmmakers we get to encounter during film production, because most of the time I would thank God I have some professionals here as well. I have my producer here in the person of and also a partner in the person of Rachel Wanaina from Nairobi. So she also can be able to let you guys understand, because it's not just making a movie. There's always a lot of difficulty that we encounter in terms of challenges. So some of these encounter or these challenges that we face during both pre and production process, even at the post production process stage, it often affects sometimes the output of the story. So having to understand what a film appreciation is about, it will give us a very good insight of analyzing movie. So in the ability to recognize these different this kind of movie, in there are elements, that we need to watch out for, that will make us to be able to have good understanding and analyzing this movie. And yesterday, like I said, that you cannot be a good film critic if you have not been able to watch different genre of film. We have the comedy film, we have action thriller film, we have drama. So there are different, we have classical, we have epic. So there are different kind of genre of films that we have in the world. So as a film critic or an expert in film review, you need, the first thing is that you need to have the ability of watching different kind of film, in which is going to give you that insight on how each of these genres are being produced. As well, we talked about the story. Each movie, each film has a story. The story is often the art beat of every film. And yesterday, I went further in analyzing that every good story or every good movie that you see today, or every good film that you see today, even that bad film that you see today, started from the kind of story that is being highlighted. So the story, what the story is, how the story is being narrated, is always a key thing on how we can be able to also analyze this different kind of film. And I went further yesterday in making us to understand that I'm always a student of the school of thought, that I believe that you cannot know a story like its people. And I went further even in analyzing that as a Nigerian movie director, I can't just come to Namibia and I want to shoot a story that is really of about the culture or the religion of the Namibia that I don't have any idea about. And that is where research come in. So that in the place of having to do a lot of research, even when you are in that country, you might not be able to know it like the people that are really that story is for. And that is where research come in, and which will give us a very good picture of what we want to show the audience. And furthermore, we talk briefly, we discuss about the role of analyzing character And yesterday I told you guys about how a lot of actors are unable to become the character that is supposed to be projected in that story. So the role of understanding what character um, is expected of from such actor, because the truth is that it is the actor that actually reveal what the story is about. They are supposed to be that face. The actors are always the face of every movie. So if most of the actors that are on such projects are unable to become, please, it's very important, because that is also a problem that I've been able to see in some of the African projects that were submitted then when I was an independent producer to African Magic Multi Choice Nigeria, whereby you see a lot of films that were submitted and we tend to not accept them because when we do review, we see a lot of mistake where the actors are not, they don't even know what is expected of them, and sometimes maybe the directors having oversight or because of not having enough budget to be able to employ the good hands to perform such, then you see such project, such movie, that it will be rejected and will not be able to meet up to international standard. So that's as well the actor becoming the character, having the knowledge of what is expected of them is also one of the elements that we look out for when we want to review and analyze movie. Then we also discuss about part of the element, we discuss about the cinematography, the camera unit, which is very, very important because it is this unit that often capture the visual element of every movie. You see in the aspect of the camera angle, the composition, the camera movement, all these aspects of the camera department, from the cinematography unit, will really give us a good visuals element in which it is very important to drive the plot of each scene of a film project. So that as well, the camera department is very, very key to understanding and also making sure that we have the ability of getting the right moment and also helping in story progression. Like for example, yesterday I gave you an example of how before now that was even part of the history, the film history, which briefly I talked yesterday. But when you look at it from old, there are some old movie like the movie of Chaplin, and some of these very classical old movie where there's no dialogue and the camera is able to give us a good visuals what the actor is trying to interpret to the audience. So in such movie, if there is no good cinematographer or camera unit, they might not be able to give us what that story or that movie or that film is actually trying to communicate to the audience. Then yesterday we also discussed about the sound design. The sound design is also very important, very, very important element when it comes to film review. A lot of movie was rejected at African Magic during my time as well, even till now, because yes, they might have a very good visuals. Their picture quality might be so superb, but we have seen a lot of cases where there is a lot of noise in the film project. We have seen a lot of cases where the soundtrack or the sound effects that they actually engage in some of the scene does not complement what the scene or the story plot is about, that often affect the story plots and the story progression as well. So sound effects, which actually is the act of creating audio elements, is always very key. And some of the example of what is involved in sound effects yesterday, sorry, sound design yesterday, like I highlighted, was you are looking at dialogue, you are looking at the what kind of music, like original music that is involved in such film project. You are looking at sound effects. So most of the time, like I said, whenever you see movies that has bad sound. Some of this sound, like for example, whereby you go to use some sound equipment that does not really filter noise, and you bring such upon your project, then you will not get to the post production. You are now fighting with your what's it called, your rushes, and at the end of the day, you might not be able to get that sound clarity, ability to also separate each of the dialogue and each of the sound elements. We call them the folic sound in each of the scene. That also is another aspect in which we also look out for in every project. Then we also talk about the very key importance of lighting. We have seen a lot of very good storyline, very good visuals, but the visuals were misinterpreted. We are not able to give us that mood, that atmosphere, that sense of meaning was not being able to pass to the audience because of faulty lighting. And yesterday I told you about ability to be able to create a source lighting. You see a lot of filmmakers, maybe because of budget or lack of having to bring in the right people for the job, like the gaffer, they just do floor lighting. When you do floor lighting, you are not having the ability to have lighting dynamic. You are not telling us the story through the light. For example, you want to talk about a scene, or you want to show a scene where you want to build up a kind of a tension. Maybe, for example, we are showing a drama scene where they are trying to express love to themselves. And in such, what kind of lighting is required? Then you see some of this movie, they will just floor it. Are we looking at a yellow field lighting? Are we looking at a red field lighting? What does yellow represent? What does red represent? What does blue represent? So that as well, because we call it camera temperature. So the kind of atmosphere that lighting creates also interpret what kind of mood is expected for that scene. So that also is another issue that we have also seen, especially in the African space, in which we use in revealing our um, our movies. Then we're also looking at the post production, which is very, very key, the editing department, where, yes, you might have a very good rushes, you must have been able to capture very good scene from your location. Then you are now engaging an editor that does not even, it might even be a very good editor, but an editor that does not even understand what the story is about, whereby if maybe, for example, the director is not around, or even the director himself is has been carried away, maybe going to for other projects, because we have seen cases like that where before that film project ended, the director already have another set that is going to. So you just leave everything to the hand of the editor, and in such situation, we have seen some of this editor getting to destroy such story plots because they don't understand how are they going to assemble each footage to make into a coherent story, to make that vision, the real vision that the story is about, to be able to be projected. And I gave example as well when it comes to editing. For example, when you are looking at a thriller action movie, then I told you about fast cutting. Fast cutting actually brings about excitement. Then you are looking at a drama, you are looking at a love story. A love story will you don't do fast cutting, because if you do fast cutting, you might not be able to give the actors within 10 seconds to be able to express that their internal feelings, emotions, so that the audience can be able to connect to them. So that the such actually come into the post-production stage, which we look at the overall view of what the film is all about, and each of those scenes, how they are able to capture the plot, how they were able to also give us a very good story progression, and as a whole, they were able to give us what the vision of the story is about. As well, we look at color grading as well. That also is also part of production. The coloration. How is the editor able to use each color? Like for example, we want to show we are in 2024, and you are talking about a story that is in the 1960s. So what kind of color is being expected of you in terms of grading? So these are some of the things we also look out for. Then yesterday we also talk about the film history. Film history is very important in also analyzing um, every film project, because when you talk about film history, you are looking at the evolution of film. So it is not just you sitting down to watch film now. How was it being shot in the 1960s? What are the developments that we have today that is quite different from the way it was done in the 1960s? At most of the movies that we do now, we actually, most of the time, we encourage less dialogue. But in the 1960s, in the 70s, because of their intellectual capacity then, because of the style of how movie was done then, they require a lot of dialogue in which they can pass their message. So because then it was more of stage, they do more of stage than that of screen. Now we do more of screen than that of stage. So those are some of the changes, developments that have come, and for you to be able to know how to really analyze. Because for example, we want to shoot a movie that was a story that was done in 1970. Such story, you want to recreate that story in this current year that we are in. You, as a film director or a producer, it is expected of you what kind of picture was existing in the 1970s, the 1960s. You need to understand the kind of picture, because you want to connect, you want to take people back. It's something that has happened in the past. So of such, maybe you have seen some of this movie that has been done, and you see them, it was shot under what we call monochrome. Monochrome is something that looks like black and white. Then you want to be asking yourself, why are they shooting? Why is this film being shown in black and white? Then you see some of this film, they will be winning Academy Award. You want to ask yourself, what is the special thing in this kind of movie? These are the things that we look out for. It's not just you having to put in coloration. It is for you to be able to connect. You want to take people back. So the ability of taking people back requires that you need to make it the original, and that is what makes such film to actually stand out. Sorry, I think.
Sorry, sir. Hesbon, kindly mute your mic. Hesbon. Good evening, Hesbon.
I think it's not getting you.
I think Ellen, you are admin, you can mute everyone.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You can mute them, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Femi, you can unmute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so then, as I was saying, when it comes to in terms of film history as well, so that's why you see some of these different kind of coloration, and such coloration actually we often depict the year that such story happened. And you will see a lot of such when it comes to documentary films, where we want to actually show the facts. You see such as well. And you want to talk when we show a true life story as well, in which we bring out facts, some of these facts as well. In film history, we look at what kind of camera was used in the past. What do we have now? The kind of speed as well that was the frame. We call it now. I'm now going a little bit technical, but sorry, we're still going to show us the practical of it where we show some of this movie. But I really want us to have idea so that when we get there, it will not be strange. So the frame rate, we call them frame rate. what is the frame size as well that was being used then that is completely different from what is used now. For example, now we are using not just 16 by 90, we are using even something that is much more above that. But as at that time, the highest frame that we are looking at something that is around 4 by 3. And that's where you will see some of their pictures was much smaller than what we have now. And those are the things that are quite different in terms of equipment development and also the method of presentation in which we capture our events now. So these are some of the brief of the elements in which we look into that actually make us to have the ability of analyzing and understanding what each movie is about, and it will give us great insight when we come to revealing such different movies. So Rachel, I want us to move forward now. Is there any question before we move forward? Is there any question before we move forward in going into the practical aspects? So over to you guys. Ellie, over to you. Is there any question for any student?
Is there any question, guys? For me, it's fine. I don't have any questions from my side. I'm excited for the next step.
Oh, so far so good from my side as well.
Okay, thank you, Romeo. So Rachel is sharing the screen so that we can go into the practical aspect.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yes, I can.
But it's not playing.
Should I start playing?
Yes, it's not playing. Yeah.
Okay, let me play.
Rachel, can we stop it here? Rachel? Okay, thank you very much, Rachel. Let's go back to the class before we move further to the next one. So the next movie we are going to watch, that one is a short movie, it's a short film. So we are going to watch that one in a whole. So I quickly just want to highlight analyze what we just watched now, because when you are talking about the success that Nollywood, that's the Nigerian film industry, have today, it has been actually dedicated to the origin. This movie, Things Fall Apart, is one of the first most movie that was done in the 70s here in Nigeria. Immediately after our independence. Yes, I can see Elaine so surprised. So you are talking about Nollywood today, that that has become a household name, has the success has been attributed to this film. And that was why I had, so that we can see this and also connect to the history, film history. You will notice the picture quality of that we have seen of that time that looked so superb then is now poor. Can you see that the picture quality is poor? It's then another thing that you see in it is you will also see the color, that's the grading that was used then. If you are to compare it to what we are using now, you will see the very big difference. The color that they used was not monochrome, but you can see that it was so close to monochrome. Do you get it? We call that color the gray color. Do you get it? In which you can see even the frame, the camera frame, you will see that it was not 16 by 9, and that's why you see the frame size to be smaller into comparing to what we are having today. So these are some of the differences in which we can now say that, okay, so can somebody sit down now? Like, for example, our youth now, can they sit down now and they will be so interested in watching this kind of movie? They will not, because they will tell you that the picture is not there. They will tell you that what are they even doing? But another beauty that I want you to look at is that the camera units, the cinematography unit of that movie was so superb. You will notice some cutaways, some commercial shots when Peter Edochie, sorry, I didn't introduce that actor because he's one of our legends when it comes to Nollywood in terms of actors. These are actors that they were able to stand the test of time. Even till now, that Peter Edochie, the man, that actor that came out from the house that was stretching, it happened to be his son, whom happened to be also an actor. He's also a very talented as well. So these are some of the actors that are the faces of Nollywood. So back to analyzing the camera department, who happened to be superb. They were able to do a superb work. You will notice that the camera department was able to take there's this cutaway of bitter cola. There's what we call bitter cola here in Nigeria. I don't know if you guys have it over there in the different country, but I know it's something that's related to Africa, bitter cola. And he was able to throw it on the floor. Immediately, you will notice that the camera took it, but it was even fast. I love that aspect, because that also was able to tell us something. And that is now going into the from the cinematography department. I will still move to the production design department, where we are also looking at certain elements that are still very, very valid till now. So in that aspect, we see the camera department took that. Why did the camera department took that bitter cola that was placed, that was thrown very close to that stone, that stone that they used to they grind food during that time? We don't have grinder like we have today. So then it was stone that was being used. So that camera was able to take it. What does that mean? Bitter cola represents life in our culture, especially in that culture that they are trying to project to the world. That culture that they projected to the world, we call it in Nigeria the Igbo culture. They are from the east in Nigeria. They are the eastern people. They are a particular tribe that are part of the major tribe. We have three major tribes in Nigeria. We have so many tribes. Yes, so many minor tribes. But the three major tribes in Nigeria, the eastern people are one of them. And the bitter cola is one of the very important fruits that they use to represent life. And for the fact that he was coming out from his house very early in the morning, I was stretching, that throwing of the bitter cola represents, they are trying to communicate to the audience there, because it's not just throwing down bitter cola. It is like communicating to the audience there that this man, this character that you are seeing that just came out is a character that is full of life. Can you see? Just with that visual capture and elements, they were able to communicate. Another aspect of that first scene, I also want you to see or understand, is that cut away of having to take that band, that yam band. There's this yam band. You will see that immediately the camera was taken away from that kola nut, went back to the actor, and the music was going on. The camera went again to, we call it the off-screen shot, went back to get to another element that they want us to see and to also communicate with us. Now, that yam band means that this man happened to be a farmer. So it's not just showing a yam band, they are also showing the vocation of this man, this character that we are seeing, that they are just presenting to us. So just within 5 seconds, the camera has been able to tell us, show us details about this character that is just coming out. Can you see? Very fantastic job. Even in the 1970s, I know some of us, a lot of us have not been born by that time, but they were also intelligent. The same basics of methodology that we are still using today has been in place for centuries, for years. So those are some of the things that we need to really appreciate from the works of that our forerunners, our elders have been able to do. They have been able to place in front of us. They have been able to do it. It is the foundation that they have placed, that they have laid, that we are still building upon. Another aspect of this project that is so beautiful is that you see that camera panning at the beginning of the frame. It was panning from a coconut palm tree. It panned down and it showed us a kind of a house that is old. So this is an African setting. There's the aspect of colonialism, the impact of colonialism is not in Africa then. It's not that when you talk about that 1970, the colonials were not here. But this story is talking about culture. So they were able to show us culture. You will also see that this character is not putting on a garment, a costume that is foreign. We are also, it was also on his the short, which is the African, the Eastern people, the way they were dressed then. So these are some of the things that the visuals, the camera unit was able to also show us within just these seconds, which is a very fantastic aspect. You will also notice that there was a sound, a kind of a soundtrack that started immediately that what's it called? The film was presented. Aside from the song, the soundtrack followed. That soundtrack, there's this flute that is actually associated. They always call it the flute of life. So the Eastern people, they use flutes to communicate then, even till now. So that flute was a very major element of the instrument that they used to create that soundtrack. So this as well, just within that short period of time, you will notice that I am able to see from the aspect of analysis now as a film reviewer, as a film critic, I was able to see bad picture. I was able to see not very good sound because the sound was cracky. I was able to also feel some kind of noise in the song from the sound, which are not very good for clarity as well. But I'm also able to see the very good culture that they were able to present to us. I was able to also understand why are they throwing down, why does this character, why did he throw down cola nuts? I was able to also understand that why is it there's so many yam in the storehouse. We call it storehouse today, but then they call it food band of this. Why are they showing me yam? What is yam? Why is it? What is the connection of yam to this character? So these are the things that I was able to see from the aspect of analysis. But for maybe just an ordinary what's it called? An ordinary film watcher, it would just be excited. Look at this, not knowing that this every scene and every element that is embedded in every film production has a line of communication to the audience. So, and that is where we need to actually pay attention to whenever we are watching. So, because of our time as well, you can see just within we are looking at just 5 seconds or there about 10 seconds, we are able to have a clear picture of what that movie is about. So, even for me, as an expert in film review, for me, from that first 10 seconds, I've been able to have a kind of a picture in my mind what this story, what this film is about. Do you get it? And that is where we need to really understand, and that is the reason for this class. So because of our time as well, let's go to Rachel. Let's go to the next step, the next movie. So this one, we are going to watch this one in full. I'm going to watch this one in full. That's the encounter.
Emmanuel Ifajuna, how the mighty have fallen.
Nice to see you too, Oko. If you had given me enough notice, I would have cleaned up. It seems you've lost your respect, Oko. Even if I have fallen, I still outrank you.
You did. But not any longer. I outrank you now. You would address me as Lieutenant Colonel Oko.
Congratulations, Oko. I'm sure it's a position well earned.
If I don't know, you should have been dead by now. At least your treacherous body would have been manure for the motherland.
You have 2 boys to back you up now, eh? And all of a sudden you feel like a leader. Lieutenant, you were always the runt of the battalion. Coward.
What's good? Over there. Come on, move. Move. Mustafa, move. Move. Come on, move.
Stop that nonsense! Acting like a bloody Nigerian. Pick him up, now!
General.
Major, my apologies. Some of my men can be a bit overzealous.
Well, I'm considered dangerous. I'm rumored to have killed the Prime Minister.
Still the drama queen, aren't we?
It used to entertain you. You still have a bed.
I am still mourning our slaughtered brothers.
And you call me a drama queen.
What can I say? 2 peas in a pod, eh? Would you like a galois, old chap?
Sorry, mate. I still don't smoke.
Suit yourself. I have decided to stop smoking all English brand of cigarettes and stick to the French. At least they seem to support our cause.
What difference does it make, Emeka? What they call it or where it is made? It's still the same tobacco which kills.
You may be right. Forever the athlete then, eh? Ima Ban Kufa.
No one has called me that in the last 13 years.
I still remember that day you won the gold medal. I was in Oxford. I can't believe it. He's done it. What a jump. A new Commonwealth record. Ifeanyi Junior would definitely win gold with such a performance for Nigeria. Wow. I was so proud. I bought drinks for everyone in college that day. You know, I envied you slightly. I could have been there with you. I set the English junior record in discus throw in my school. Did you know?
Why didn't you come? I understand.
I have always gagged on my silver spoon. That's why I joined the army, to serve Nigeria. And my father disowned me for that.
That's why I joined too. How is my mother?
I checked up on her. She's fine. I always look after my own Ima.
That would explain why you're there. And I am here.
I didn't put you here. You did it to your damn self.
So what is it you want from me, Emeka? By the look on your face, you have already decided what to do with me.
I want you to tell me, here, man to man, no lies, no gimmicks. Why, Ima? Kini kame Luigi betray him? What went wrong? What happened? What made you lose faith in the cause? In our cause, in the cause of our people? Hey, Ima Vancouver!
What do you want from me, Emeka? Don't you have a country to run?
Be serious, Ima. This is a serious thing you have done, not one of your pranks.
Just saying it like I don't know.
Be serious, boy! You are staring at the barrel of a gun.
Then why don't you pull the trigger, Emeka? Why? What is stopping you? Your conscience? Are you hoping to see understanding and forgiveness in my eyes? Are you looking to see confirmation that this farce is justified?
You and your people yielded the Midwest to the enemy and aimed at taking over my government and negotiate with Gowon. This is a fact. The evidence in the Kinshasa special speaks for itself.
When did you start to have this as your source of information, Emeka? I've lost count the number of times you and I have laughed at the trash this paper has published. If you have started believing in this now, then you believe Gowon is from Nnewi.
My spies have confirmed this. Why your defiance? Huh? Why don't you protest your innocence? For the love of God, you only have a few moments left.
Please, Emeka, please, don't. My fate has already been decided. The tribunal was a farce and you know it. I was guilty before I could even open my mouth to speak.
You were tried fairly.
Fairly? Fairly? Ah! It is silly that we were tried by that circus. Does justice in Kemena have a window into people's souls? Half of them have done nothing to contribute to the greatness of our people. Then they lead you astray and condemn me with no right of appeal.
Okay, Sifoya.
Oh, we thank God. Is that not how it is?
Why don't you tell me? Yeah. In the absence of Justice Ikemena and his jury, what were your intentions? What were your plans? What were you thinking?
This war should not be happening, Emeka, and you know it. Our people have suffered too much to be dragged to face the might of the world with a ragtag army, no navy, no air force, nothing. For God's sakes, Emeka, we don't even have enough guns or food. What were you thinking?
If you and Uzogu had not unleashed your unique brand of madness last January, we wouldn't be swimming in Biafran blood.
It was a revolution!
Ah!
And every Nigerian with a conscience understood what we were trying to do. Yes, we may have failed, but you had a chance to set everything right. You had a chance to lead our people back to greatness. But look where we are. Murdered, fighting blindly in the wilderness. You are an Oxford historian, Emeka. You got school. Did you learn nothing from history? Did you not see all this coming? Enough!
It's fine. Leave us. Leave us now.
You were trying to save Nigeria.
Nigeria.
We wanted to save Nigeria, and we would have succeeded. We almost succeeded.
The road to hell is always paved with good intentions.
And you got yourself a kingdom in exchange. Bravo.
Watch yourself, boy.
You hear that? You hear those bombshells, Emeka? How long will this nation last? How long will this war go on? In a few days, the Nigerian army will take your precious capital from you.
Rachel.
Did you know Zogu could have taken care of you in Kano when he had the chance? Or he's dead?
Sure. Zago should have done your dirty job while you crawled under the bed in Akrama's bedroom.
It's my cross I have to bear. But Emeka, Biko, listen to the words of a corpse. You and I go a long way. Our families have known each other since we were little. My uncle used to always treat you whenever you fell ill. I joined the army because of you. The first Oxford man in the military. Ezioku, it's true we don't see eye to eye. But there is a way, there is another way to end this. You cannot win this war. The stakes are too high, Emeka. But there is another way that you can save them and give them hope.
How?
Negotiate and surrender to the Nigerian army.
Surrender? Clearly you are mad.
It is the only way, Emeka, and you know it.
Never. You hear me? Never. Things will not work the way you and your January 15 boys want them to.
The others, have you spoken to any of them?
Not to Victor. Philip is my in-law, and in our tradition, a man's in-law is his chief.
Then God help us all. You especially. I would not want to have your conscience. 2 peas in a pod, right?
Right.
two peas in a pod. Except when the pod is broken, the peas fall out and separate. That's why you're there. And I'm here. Emeka.
I don't think you should call me that anymore. Not in the short time you have left. You are a soldier, and I, your commander-in-chief.
May I ask one last favor, sir? As a friend.
Go ahead. If I can, I will.
My family, they have nothing to do with this. Please do not harm them.
I told you, I always look after my own.
Thank you, sir.
Oko.
So Rachel is okay, it's fine. Yeah, thank you very much, Rachel, for a very good job. You happen to be our technical support. So thank you very much. So I've been going through some of our reviews, see feedback from us. But we should not be fast about it. We are just coming up. So we need to understand that before you can analyze any movie, it is very important that you have knowledge of the story history. If you do not have knowledge of the story history, you might not be able to have a very good understanding of how to analyze it. This movie actually happened in the 1960. Sorry, it happened in the 1967 precisely. It happened to be a true life story about the civil war that happened here in Nigeria, and the civil war lasted between 1967 to 1970. Another aspect of the movie which I want us to take cognizance of is the fact that you will notice that this story, the time of that this story happened, was also close to the time when the first story was being shot. It's also very important we have a good knowledge of that as well. But the time, yes, this story was shot, this encounter was shot 2016. Please, are you guys getting me? So that because we are now in the practical aspect of um the story, the film, the appreciation in which we need to now break down each of the departments. Please, are you guys getting me? Are you guys following me?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, my Ellen. So as I was saying, that this story, it was actually a true life story, and it happened in July 6, 1967 to be precise. During the Civil War, and the two characters that was the main character, both the antagonist and the protagonist, happened to be very two close friends, and that brought about the kind of dialogue that they started with, in which it was based on a friendly atmosphere after the traitor, the one that was perceived to be a traitor, that's Ifejuwa Emmanuel, was brought out from the prison. The colonel, the commander in chief there, happened to be the late Colonel Odumegu Ujuku. This what was it called? The Eastern. It's a story of where the Eastern people in Nigeria, the Eastern tribe in Nigeria, wanted to break out of the Republic of Nigeria. So I'm just trying to give us a foundation story of information of what actually happened before they got to where that scene is. This short film, it was just an extract of the whole story of from the Civil War. Now, they call themselves, as this revolutionary list, they call themselves, they wanted to start a republic, and they called that republic the Biafran Republic. You can see all this information online, and that was the very bitter civil war that happened in Nigeria between that time. Now, let's now go in breaking this movie down, because another aspect of this movie I really also want to inform us is that this movie was able to win a lot of awards, both in Nigeria and globally. It was short, but it was able to capture some very important moments where in which during the Civil War, some of this story, especially that guy, that traitor, that happened to be the first African to had a gold medal in Commonwealth game. So there's also history that was attached to this movie, and that was why in the ending you are going to see some of these pictures, the right pictures of that traitor Emmanuel that was killed. So let's go down back to the feedback and breakdown of the appreciation. One first thing I also want us to understand is you will see the difference in frame size. Now we want to go to the camera departments. You will see that in terms of the kind of image, that's the picture, the image that is associated with this encounter, this work that was shot in 2016, that was quite different from the one that was shot far in the 1980s. The difference was really about the image. The camera that was being used was quite different. So the frame size was even much higher. This one was shot under 4K. That one was shot under 565 frame. Can you see the difference? So we are not even talking about HD. That means 1080 by 6. Sorry, I'm going technical because these are the things that we look out for when you are talking about analyzing a movie. So we are talking about the frame rate that is, you see this image to be more bigger. You will see this image, the details also is highly captured in this one, which is quite different from what we have in the former movie that we have seen. So let me just concentrate on this for now so that we can really understand what this project is about. So at the beginning, you will notice, because we are still talking about the same tribe. The reason why I picked this two movie is that it's still related to the same tribe within Nigeria. that they're talking about the Igbo people, the Eastern tribe in Nigeria. So it's still the story about the both of them. You'll notice from the sound design. So this is the beginning now. From the first frame, the first scene, you'll notice that there's this soundtrack that was being played. In that soundtrack, you will notice very, very precise flutes. There's this flute sound that was added to that soundtrack. Don't forget that as well represent the culture and the tradition of the Igbo people, the Eastern people, this tribe in Nigeria. So you will see that in our work, I'm now going back to Nollywood now. In our work here in Nigeria, and what actually makes the global space to really appreciate more of our work is that we do not take for granted our culture and tradition. It actually goes along our work. And that's one of the very key things that we don't take for granted in everything that we do when it comes to our production. So that flute, that the sound of that flute there actually is a representation of this culture that is very unique, that are called the Igbo people, the Eastern people. Another aspect of this flute, like I said earlier, from the last from the last movie, this flute is always used to communicate. There's this particular different kind of communications that we go along with this flute, and that is one of the elements that is added to this. Because of our time, I will need to rush because I think we are even spending more time today. Another aspect of that first frame that goes along that flute that was being played was they were singing in kind of a national anthem. That item is quite different from the national item of the Republic of Nigeria. That also signifies the identity through sound of these people that are coming together. And another aspect of this movie is the cinematography aspect, which is quite very superb. You will notice that at the beginning, there was a flag that was being captured. That flag is not the flag of Nigeria. So without telling you what in dialogue, you will see that they didn't speak anything concerning that flag in dialogue. So just with that camera was able to tell us, was able to show us what these people stand for. So that camera is the sign of the Biafran people in which they actually stood out. Another aspect of that visual element here, you will notice that that camera was from a low angle and it was facing the flag up. That also represents, because it's also very important, we know why that camera is coming from that low angle. So why is that camera coming from low angle? It's because that also shows authority. So we are not just, the camera department is not just put that camera in a low angle. It was being positioned there so that it can show, it can tell us that this on its own, this as well, from that position, also make that flag to be in power. It also shows power. It represents power as well. And that is why that camera was placed at that particular location as well. Another aspect in which I also want us to take in cognizance based on the very fantastic visual elements that came in that from this the camera department is, you will notice during the dialogue between the commander and the traitor, they were able to take this cigarette. There's this cutaway of this the cigarette that the commander was taking. And you will notice that why you want to ask the question, why is this camera, why is the camera unit, why is the cinematographer, what is the essence of this cigar that is being captured? Then you will, that also accompanying the dialogue that proceeded after the camera was able to take that. And you will see that the commander was able to say that it is the French that is in support of their cause and not the United Kingdom. Don't forget that as at that time, the United Kingdom was the one that colonized Nigeria. So the United Kingdom was the one supporting. They did not support the Biafran. They were supporting the Republic of Nigeria. So you will see as well the camera able to also give us a details of why that cigarette, so that those cigars, and the reasons for that the brand of the cigar as well. Towards the end of that particular scene, you will notice that the cigar that was placed, that the commander placed on the table, that he didn't take, that cigar was able to quickly burn out. And the camera again captured that cigar burning out. What does that mean? The camera is not just showing us that a cigar is burning out. It will represent as well that cigar represents the short life that traitor, Emmanuel, was having. So that cigar represents, you will notice that immediately that cigar was burnt out, Emmanuel was taken out of that scene, and the next thing is that we were able to see the gun and the gunshot that actually followed. So those are some of the elements that the camera department was able to take for the interpretation of that scene. Another aspect is, yes, I saw what's it called, Eileen talking about the acting of the main character. Yes, you might not be able to understand that main character if you do not know, if you don't know who the character is. That I'm talking about that main person in real life who happened to be Ojukwu himself, the late Ojukwu himself. Yes, the actor was able to do good justice to that character, because yes, he happened to be in Nigeria, but he schooled in Oxford. He was an Oxford graduate, and that was the reason for that. Their kind of English, the Queen's English that they use as a form of communication in that scene. And as well, it is also very important that we understand the reason why. You will notice the charisma, the way he moves his body. That also reveal how this man that happened to be a very, very popular commander in Nigeria, how can just an individual trying to fight a nation? That also showed the kind of person that he was. As well, there's what is also associated with these Eastern people, even till now, even for those that are educated in their midst. Whenever they speak English, even for those that are educated, they always add their local dialect, the Igbo language. And that was what they were adding when they were having that dialogue. That is another element of uniqueness in which they were able to bring into that scene. Because of our time, I'll rush to the lighting. Yes, I saw Clint talking about the very superb lighting in which they brought into the scene. Do you get it? They brought it into the scene, and you will see there's this sunlight that was coming from outside the window from the office. That sunlight was not sunlight. That was not the natural sunlight. It was lighting. It was an HMI light that actually is a mercury light that they call it the daylight. And that was what brought about the creation of that this artificial sunlight that we are now seeing in that scene. So it's very fantastic. As well, you will see there is a kind of a smoke, a cloudy environment from that window that actually talk about the work of the smoke machine that was able to also give us a feel of dust around that what's it called, that scene as well. Those you will see as well. There's also the lantern artificial lighting that is also available in that scene as well. So that those actually create that mood of excitement, that mood of danger, that mood of tension that is expected of that scene as well. Because of our time, I'll move down to the production design. You will see the costume, the way the costume was done. You will see the way the makeup. You will see that blood from the mouth of the antagonist as well. You will see also the map, the Biafran map was on the wall of the general as well. All these complements as well, even the props on the table. So you check all these elements, which actually represent the cause in which they are fighting as well. Then let's also move forward further in terms of the dialogue. You will see from the beginning where Okon was also communicating with the junior officer when they were about to take them away. You will see that he didn't communicate with them with the English, the normal English that he was communicating with the traitor. He communicated with them with Igbo. That also showed the level of their education. Do you get it? In which those ones they are semi-illiterate, and was able to communicate with them in their local dialect. Yeah, because of our time, there's a lot that is embedded in it. But at this point, I think we are much far behind schedule, and I will want to submit at this time to hold on in this from this section. So which I can do. I want to listen to questions from there so far. So what have you guys learned? What are the other things that you have seen and which you can present to us? So over to you now.
Good evening, Mr. Kotere. Are we done with the session?
Elaine, I can't hear you. What did you say?
Is this the ending of the masterclass? Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I've been able to break some of the elements in
Mm-hmm.
from that scene, from that encounter. So I want to
Yes.
get feedback from the class. So what
Mm-hmm.
do we understand so far from all this feedback I've been able to analyze from that, in which we can have discussion on? So what question do you have?
Okay, I currently have no questions. I just understand it more that I was coming from a very ignorant place when I judged how the character was acting, because I didn't understand the story of the film, nor have I any knowledge of how cinematography or production works. No, I don't understand the history or why the film was made. I just judge a character based on what I'm seeing. So that's what I learned of not to do. Any other one? Any other person has feedback?
Femi, I had seen some comments in the chat. Did you see them? So
I actually understand now that to be a film critic, you really have to really understand the story, the importance of the story, why the story is being told. And I didn't understand anything about the stories. I just judged a character, but you judge you hold the character in high regard because you actually understand the story and how it should be told, which I don't have knowledge of. I don't know how it should be told. Don't understand it. You actually understand it, and therefore you qualify to be a film critic of the story. That's how that's the feedback I can give you. Yeah, that's how I understood it.
okay, maybe we can have Clint, I am Wells, Adrian or Romeo to also give their feedback real quick. Maybe we can have the takeaways as we, because I think Femi, we lost Femi. We just lost Femi. I hope he'll log in back. But Clint, do you have any main takeaway as we finish? Adrian?
Hey.
Clint? Yes.
Okay, I wanted to ask about the background sound that has been used in the conversation between the person who was jailed and the commander. I feel like the sound was a lot. Like they could just focus on the conversation and then use the sound a little bit. I wanted to ask. I think he's not around.
It's okay. I think he's logging back. We're going to note that. Yes.
Yeah.
So about the background track, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
It
you.
was all through the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I am Wealth or Romeo? It's because I can't see your name. I just say I am Wealth.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Give us any comment so far on the appreciation.
I'll just like to ask if that's this.
I think we lost her. Romeo, do you have any comment? As Femi comes back. Romeo or Adrian?
Yes. Hello, Rachel.
Hi.
I do have a comment. First, after the movie ended, I went to do a little research about the story, and actually looking it up in Wikipedia, it's in the movie. I believe it's been portrayed exactly as the story was. Even the general, the major who was speaking in the British accent, if you look at his real images, I think they're almost looking alike with the actor, the real face of the general and the actor. There's a lot of similarity with the face. I just say that I've never seen an African film that portrays history the way this film was done. It was interesting. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Thank you also for sharing and for doing that research. It's very important. And maybe just to answer Clint, because I also happened to watch the movie, but I don't know the background of the movie very well. I'll need to also go and check it. But I feel like sometimes during sound design, the pitch of the sound, the volume of the sound of the music can be disturbing at some point. I think there was a small mistake in terms of the background sound, in terms of the pitching and mixing and mastering. It could have been a bit lower, or even sometimes just leave us to enjoy the dialogue. So I understand where you're coming from. And just to say to everyone that when you're watching a film, it's important to be able to pick the viewers. I know today you are the viewers, all of us. And when you were watching, because we've not watched this movie before and it was a surprise, the immediate reaction we had also was very important because it shows you how exactly the audience would react to this film. But I want all of you to note the year. You know, the every movie has a story duration, and the story duration is 1960s for this film. So I think in that capacity, I think they really tried in terms of when you go back to the 60s and you're trying to do something very high quality, it becomes difficult, especially in terms of color grading and all these things and trying to put the light and I think one of the most genius thing they did was to make the movie have less actors. They just had extras in the beginning, then they had one location, so that for as a producer that was cost saving. They were able to tell a war story but with very few resources, and they avoided showing the most brutal parts like the killing, and therefore making the movie be classified better, can be watched by a whole family. And that also contributes in terms of the marketing for them to get the right kind of market. Yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for coming. Back to you, Eileen, to finalize. I don't think Femi is coming back because I think he lost his network or either his phone went off or something, but we really appreciate him in absentia. And back to you, Eileen.
Thank you, Miss Rachel. I just want to conclude. Was this the final Was it the final aspect of the masterclass, of the film critic masterclass? What before Femi left? Was it the last topic to be addressed?
Ellen, what do you mean?
I meant that was this the end of the masterclass? Was it the last topic he addressed? The practical stuff we covered about the film viewing. Was it the last topic? Like how do I explain this? The last thing to cover.
I think Femi is back. Maybe
Yeah.
I can just summarize for him the questions that we've gotten.
Yes.
So Femi, we were given a comment about a question about sound, the sound in the film. It sounded too much when the dialogue was ongoing. And Clint was asking why did the music have to be put all through? For him, he felt like the music could have been, moderated. So maybe you can respond to that. And then, Adrian, you raised a point. Can you remind us what point you raised, real quick?
The point about me confirming the history, the story, what the story is about, and the story around the characters. Is that the point you're talking about, Rachel? Hello, can you hear me?
You confirmed to us that it's the real story, right?
Yeah, I was looking it up here in Wikipedia. I've googled it actually, and
Yes. So
it's exactly the it was. Even the most striking part about it is the general. I don't know who. Let me just confirm the name of the general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I was just bringing Femi up to speed, but I don't know. I think he's having internet challenges. So I think, Eileen, we may have to end the class because it's very late here in Kenya, and majority of us are in Kenya right now. It's around 10 p.m. So
Okay, no problem.
you can do the closing remarks, and if Femi manages to join, we can just let him know because I can see he's
Yes.
having internet challenges. Yes, please.
Yes. I also hope that you pass on this message to him, Miss Rachel. He actually inspired the next topic for the masterclass. This was so good. Inspired the next topic for the masterclass, and wow, that's really an amazing masterclass. I learned so much, and it inspired me to even go more technical into the world of film and everything. So yeah, good job, Mr. Femi. I hope you pass that message, and thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for joining. Oh, Mr. Femi is back. Let me just tell him. Okay, I think he's having network issues. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you, Mr. Hi, Mr. Femi.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know what is going on. The thing is, I'm being cut off. It's
Okay.
you getting me. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, Femi, we had a question from Clint. He was talking about the sound of the movie. The music. It was too loud when the dialogue was going on. And then Adrian commented and said that he looked up the story of this movie and he found that it was a real story. So maybe you could respond to Clint as we tell Eileen to come to finish the class off, please.
Oh, okay, so very important as well. That's very good observation from Clint. That is one of the criticism that we were able to push to for review for the preview of this the sound as well. It was so it affected the dialogue, the editor of the dialogue. So just like Clint have observed, that is also one of some of the mistakes. There are other mistakes and in this movie. Yes, definitely won award, but in which we were able to also point out, and that is why I said I really want us as the students to be able to highlight some of the things that we have been able to see. For example, even the antagonist, that's the actor that played the role of antagonist, he was also not able to really project that soldier, that brave soldier that actually went against his commander, the ideology of his commander, and so he was not able to really capture that character in which we are actually expecting. That as well is another tradition in the movie, in aspect of not meeting up to some big standard terms of the character. So, Andran, Andran, sorry, I didn't get the question. What's the question for Andran? Elaine, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Oh yes, sir. I was just typing something in the comment section.
The other comment was on that Adrian was able to research and he found out that the story was based on a true life story. So it was just a comment, and he found that the story was told as is.
Yes, yes. It's that, I told you it was an extract of the civil war that happened in Nigeria, and it was a true life story. The character were involved. They are also true character, real life character, which people can easily relate to them, and it was also able to show us some of the perspective of the story that was feeding to, or you only knew that they painted that guy as a traitor, but a lot of the audience don't even know the in-depth of that. So the story was able to do that. So, is there another question? Elaine?
Is there another question? Because I just said a comment, not a comment, but it was part of my closing remarks. So, Adrian, Romeo, Clint, do you have a question or a comment or feedback about what you learned? Okay, I see they don't. Okay, so here I'm doing the closing remarks. Before I do the closing remarks, I just want to thank you so much, Mr. Kedore. You have literally inspired my next masterclass topic, our next masterclass topic, and also inspired ideas about future masterclass sessions. So thank you for that. This was really amazing, and we look forward to hearing more from you, sir, and learning more from you, sir, especially the technical aspects. I'm really excited. And thank you, Adrian, Romeo, and Clinton for joining this masterclass, and thank you, Miss Rachel. We'll update you with the next masterclass. You can just kindly be updated with information about the masterclass and post your inquiries there. I've shared the link to our WhatsApp group in the comment section. If you're interested in the masterclass, please do share to your friends and colleagues if they're interested in joining the film industry or interested in the masterclass topics. And thank you and good evening.
Okay, good night.
I meant good night. The same thing, right? Miss Rachel will be waiting for the upload to cloud.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
okay,
you.
good night, guys.
Good night.